Attention passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Buffalo Bills' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo Bills fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Let's get to the news, all right, folks, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you could be one of the most significant rumors swirling around the NFL this season. And it involves none other than Nick Bosa, the superstar edge rusher from the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is this really happening? Bosa to Buffalo. Well, stay with me, because the whispers are growing louder after some recent reports from Diana Rossini and other NFL insiders. And honestly, it's got Bills fans on the edge of their seats. Let's start with the background. The 49ers, sitting at a record of 5-4 midway through the season, are facing some tough decisions. They are trying to balance cap space for upcoming extensions, notably for quarterback Brock Purdy, who's set to hit a hefty $45 million cap hit next year. On top of that, their defense, which has been formidable historically, is showing some cracks. Their pass rush, which used to be their biggest strength, has been inconsistent, averaging just about 2 sacks per game. That's not quite the dominant edge pressure we're used to seeing from Bosa, who has been a multiple-time All-Pro and a top 5 PFF-graded player in 2025 before his injury. Bosa's injury, a significant ankle issue suffered back in Week 5, has limited him to just 72% of snaps since, but his impact when he's on the field is undeniable. His career stats are impressive, 65 sacks and 260 pressures over his career, making him one of the premier pass rushers in the league. His ability to pressure quarterbacks, stop runs, and create turnovers is elite. For example, in 2024, he was comparable to Myles Garrett in Cleveland, with a PFF pass rush grade of 92. 5 and a plus 0.39 EPA per play, which is absurd. And his technique, especially in pass protection, is top-notch. He rarely gets double-teamed, and his win rate against blockers is consistently high. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Rumors suggest that the 49ers might be willing to part ways with Bosa, not just because of the cap crunch, but also to facilitate a rebuild or retooling of their defense and overall roster. The proposed trade, a second-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Yes, you heard that right. The Bills could snag Bosa for a future second-rounder. It sounds almost too good to be true, but with the 49ers sitting at 5-4 and needing to adjust their roster, that kind of trade could be on the table, especially if they're trying to shed as much cap as possible to re-sign key players or bring in new talent. But why would the Bills go after Bosa? Well, let's think about the team's current situation. Buffalo, sitting at an impressive 7-2 record, has been dealing with some injuries on their defensive front, particularly with their edge rushers. Jordan Poyer's injury has been a blow to the secondary, but the real concern has been the lack of consistent pressure from their defensive ends. Epenesa, who's been battling a concussion since early November, and Oliver and Carter from the interior have also been on IR, which has limited the Bills' sacks to just about 1.5 per game, way below their usual standards. Adding Bosa, a game wrecker with a nose for the quarterback, could be the missing piece that elevates Buffalo's defense into a league-dominant unit. Right now, the Bills are already some of the best in the league at stopping big plays, cutting their big play allowance by about 30%. But they need that extra juice to close out games, especially against top-tier offenses like Kansas City or Cincinnati. Bosa, with his ability to generate sacks and pressures consistently, could help the Bills increase their sack total by about 12 or more, which would be a huge boost. Imagine him along with Rousseau, who's been exceptional this season, combining for double-digit sacks and creating relentless pressure that could lead to more turnovers, something the Bills desperately need to turn the tide in tighter games. From a strategic standpoint, the Bills' defensive scheme could really benefit from Bosa's skill set. His constant push up the middle and on the edge would force quarterbacks to rush their throws, increasing the chances of interceptions and sacks. Plus, his presence would open up opportunities for other defenders, allowing Ed Oliver or Epenesa to get cleaner looks and rack up more sacks. Buffalo's secondary has been solid, but they could use fewer big plays allowed, and Bosa's relentless pass rush would help reduce those explosive gains, keeping opponents in longer third-down situations and forcing more punts or turnovers. The potential impact on the Bills' playoff push is enormous. With Bosa in the fold, the odds of Buffalo making a deep run skyrocket. Their Super Bowl odds could even see a significant jump, maybe from plus 2,500 to plus 1,200, if the trade goes through and Bosa proves his worth immediately. The Bills' defense, already top 5 in points allowed, could become even more formidable, pushing their points allowed down by another 5-6 points per game. And in the playoffs, that kind of edge can be the difference between a quick exit and a trip to the Super Bowl. Now, let's talk about the broader implications. The 49ers, on the other hand, might be risking a lot with this move. Trading away a multiple-time All-Pro and top-tier pass rusher like Bosa, especially when their pass rush has been inconsistent this season, could weaken their chances of a deep playoff run. Their defensive EPA, expected points added, has taken a hit, and their pass rush productivity has dipped compared to previous years. The trade, while potentially beneficial in cap space and rebuilding, could backfire if they lose their anchor on defense. For Bills fans, this rumor sparks a lot of excitement. It's the kind of move that could redefine what Buffalo's defense can be, especially when you consider the team's recent history of building around a strong core of young talent. Rousseau, along with a potential addition like Bosa, would form one of the most dangerous pass-rushing duos in the league. And with the Bills' secondary already playing at a high level, that kind of pressure up front could lead to a lot more turnovers, game-changing plays, and ultimately more wins that count in the postseason. Of course, it's all still just speculation for now. The NFL trade deadline isn't until late October, and teams often hold their cards close to the vest until the last minute. But the signs are pointing toward a possibility that has Bills fans dreaming of a dominant defense and a real shot at reigning supreme in the AFC. And let's not forget, the Bills are already in a good spot, 7-2, with a talented roster, and now possibly adding a player like Bosa, who could be a franchise-defining addition. In the end, whether this trade materializes or not, the excitement around it is a testament to how hungry Bills fans are for that next level of dominance. The team's recent success, with Josh Allen leading the offense, combined with a defense that's been improving all season, makes the idea of adding a player like Bosa even more tantalizing. It's about elevating the team to a championship contender, and honestly, it's stuff that keeps us all glued to our screens and dreaming about that elusive Super Bowl trophy. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Buffalo Bills news to you, it's super important that you leave a like ON this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the Bills will need to navigate the rest of their schedule with their usual intensity, but a move like this could be the catalyst that propels them even further. The AFC is stacked, but with reinforcements like Bosa, Buffalo's defense could become the league's toughest, especially in key playoff matchups. Imagine Bosa rushing from one side, Rousseau from the other, and the secondary locking down big plays. That's the kind of recipe that can carry a team all the way to Super Bowl LXI. And for the 49ers, it's a tough pill to swallow. Trading away such a high-caliber player is never easy, especially when they're still contending. But with cap concerns and a desire to rebuild or retool, sometimes teams have to make these tough decisions. If the trade does happen, it'll be a game changer, not just for the Bills, but for the entire league. Now I want to hear what you think, Bills Mafia. Would you be all in on bringing Bosa to Buffalo? Do you believe he's the missing piece to finally secure that Super Bowl? Or do you think the price is too high or that the 49ers might regret it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion really matters to us. We're all in this together, dreaming of another Super Bowl run, and every piece of news like this gets us closer to that goal. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and deep dives into everything Buffalo Bills. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and keep believing because the best is yet to come. Let's go Buffalo!